Hello and welcome to another Movie Magic Budgeting Tips and Tricks. I'm your host Stephen Konchelik, and in this video I'll be talking about flat rate fringes. Now we all know how to set up and apply flat rate fringes, or do you? Here's a common situation that people run into, is that they're setting up their fringes, and when they're setting up their flat rate fringes, they're setting up for a daily amount. Now when you go to apply it to a detail line item, that line item might be paid on a weekly amount, or even an allow. So how are those hours being calculated? Let me solve that mystery for you. Alright, so here I am in my budget, and I'm going to go to my fringe setup table by going up to Setup, Fringes, and up here I've got fringes by percentage, and down here I've got my flat rate fringes. So I'm going to set up a flat rate fringe. I'm going to call this one I flat, and give it a description. I can also give it an ID if I want. And the ID is something that will show up in the fringe column of my detail lines. It's completely optional. If you leave it blank, it just picks up the name of the fringe. So I'm going to leave it blank for now. And I'm going to give this a rate. And just for the sake of this example, I'm going to keep it simple by saying 100 per day. And notice that I kind of said 100 per day. It's a good thing to sort of add the per in between these columns mentally, just to help remind you of what it's calculating here. You're doing a flat rate fringe of $100 per day, or it could be $10 per hour, $5 per hour, a certain amount per week. And then I can add a cutoff. Now, the difference between the flat rate fringes and the percentage ones with the cutoff is that the cutoff is per unit, not a cutoff of a dollar amount. So here I might put 20 as in cutoff after 20 days. You wouldn't put a dollar amount of, let's say $10,000. It would actually be 10,000 days if you put 10,000 here. And that's different from up here, which is a dollar amount that it's cutting off. I'm actually going to leave this blank down here and tab out of there and click OK. And I've created that fringe. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply it to this line item. So I've got a line item here, and I'm going to click on my fringe view apply button. And I'm going to go ahead and select that flat rate fringe that I just created and go ahead and close this window. And what it did is you can see here that it's got total fringes of $5,000, and that's based on 10 weeks at $100 a day equals $500 based on a 5-day week equals $5,000. Now what it's calculating is a 5-day week. So how did it get to that 5-day week calculation? Well, let me show you. If we go up to Setup, Units, we can see here that over in the last column, it's got a unit equivalent of how many hours. And this only affects the flat rate fringe area. So we can see here a day is set to 12 hours and a week is set to 60 hours. So 60 divided by 12 is 5. So notice if I put this as a 10-hour day, 60 divided by 10 is 6. So we're now doing 6-day weeks. So when I click OK, the fringe total will increase on this account. So notice once I click OK and I go up here, it's now $6,000. So that's based on 6-day weeks, $100 a day times 10, $6,000. So I'm going to hit Command 7 to go back to that Setup Units field. I'm going to put this back to 12. And some people paid on allow or flat. So let me actually show you what that looks like. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to go ahead and modify this line. I'm going to say 1, let's say allow, and give them $50,000. So notice this jumped down to $100 in fringes. And that's because with an allow or flat, if it says no in that units column of the hours equivalent, it's just going to default to 1. So since we have the I flat set to $100, 100 times 1 is $100. This person still needs to have that flat rate fringe apply to the whole production. And so that right now we're grossly under budget. So what you can do though is you can go up to Setup, Units, and for that allow or flat rate, whichever one you want, because this doesn't affect anywhere else except for the flat rate fringes, you can actually put in the guesstimate of how many hours this production is going to take and apply that flat rate fringe. So, like we said, if it's 10 weeks and we know that it's 60 hours per week, we're going to put in 600 and click OK. And notice we're back to the $5,000 of flat rate fringes. So hopefully that clears things up about how flat rate fringes are calculated. Now, is there a specific topic that you want covered in a tips and tricks video? Here are the many ways you can let us know. Send us an email to moviemagic@entertainmentpartners.com. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave comments on the videos. You can also follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/movie_magic, or become a fan of ours on Facebook, facebook.com/moviemagic. Also be sure to check our website, entertainmentpartners.com, for all new products and services. Thanks for watching.